My brother moved his girlfriend into the house and now is a different person. Hello everyone, my 27F little brother, 23M, and his girlfriend, 21F, have been together for a couple of years now. Last year he asked our parents if she could move into the house as she needed to get out of her parents' house. For context, my brother shared a room with my other brother, 17M, for their entire lives. In order to move her in they needed space, and I just so happened to be in the process of moving out to live with my boyfriend. We had a family meeting about it and all agreed that if she needed a place to be we would try to make it work. I moved out by the end of the month and they moved in. Flash forward to now and my brother has become like a completely different person. He quit college, declined a promotion at his job, and ultimately quit, and is now working at the same company as his girlfriend. She helped him get the job. The main issue is that when they're at home, they don't interact with the family at all. If she has to use the bathroom or take a shower, my brother has to walk her there and walk her back. They bought a separate fridge and keep their groceries separate. And cook only for themselves. The separate groceries aren't the big deal, it's the complete separateness while being in the same communal spaces that is jarring. My family always prepares enough for everyone. Shared food, shared chores, shared spaces. My brother and his girlfriend only think of themselves in this regard. My other brother invited him out once and he declined because he wouldn't be able to take his girlfriend with him since there were only 2 tickets to the event. I understand that it is normal once you've become an adult and started your life to focus on your own needs. However, I don't think that applies when you're living with your family. There should be some level of closeness, I think. I'm mostly on Reddit to ask how I should bring up these issues with my brother. I think I want to discuss it with my parents first and see where they stand on the issue since they live in the house with them. Since I'm just an outside observer, maybe this behavior seems odder than it is. Any advice would be much appreciated. TLDR, my brother moved his girlfriend into my parents' house and changed everything about himself from his job to his personality. They treat the rest of the family like strangers and don't have separate lives away from each other. The attachment is honestly freaking me out. I am seeking advice on how to address the situation and if I even should.
I wouldn't bring your parents or your other brother into this at all. It's extremely not your place to manage those relationships. They are all capable of speaking for themselves when it comes to your brother's behavior in the shared you have a problem with him, or simply want to express concern. You should do so with him directly and calmly. You can note that he seemed withdrawn during your visits, that you've noticed that he seems unwilling to hang out with anyone unless his girlfriend can join, and that you just want to check in with him and see how he's feeling. Is he happy? Is he struggling? Invite him to talk about he swears everything is fine, or just doesn't answer you at all. Back off and let him be. The secondary point of this conversation is to let him know that you care about his emotional state, and that you're a safe person to talk to if he ever feels like he needs that. Otherwise, you'll be hands-off about his life choices. You are not his parent, you don't live with him, you simply have no standing to set or enforce rules of engagement here. His dynamic with your parents and your other brother are their business.
Your brother is one of those. I am in a relationship, so now I'm part of a couple and not a solo person with my own thoughts or feelings or needs. Yeah, that level of codependency where you can't go anywhere or do anything without the other isn't healthy at all. But unfortunately your brother is an adult. If your parents are unhappy with them being like this in their house, they are free to kick their out. They are grown adults and should get their own place and pay their own bills, but ultimately there's not much else you can do. You can try to talk to him and see if you can pry them apart, but honestly you'd have been better if your brother were abducted by aliens than trapped in one of those relationships. Just be prepared for the point when one of them finally feels smothered and breaks free. It's never usually pretty.
Yeah, that kind of complete codependency on a partner is weird, a little pathetic, and limits any growth and maturity, but I also don't think this is your business. Let your family come to you before you involve yourself in this.
Greater than I understand that it is normal once you've become an adult and started your life to focus on your own needs. However, I don't think that applies when you're living with your family. There should be some level of closeness, but I think you're placing your own personal values on other people who may have different values than isn't your place to be butting in. You've moved out. You don't know the family dynamics there anymore. While the too much closeness could feel odd to you, understand that each relationship is different. I admit that the way you describe things do make me, personally, uncomfortable. I'm also not sure about your descriptions either. Since you seem to be weirded out by their relationship, I'm wondering just how much your descriptions are clouded by you being Weirded, edit to add. I want to reassure you I'm not viewing this negatively. I mean, you feel how you feel and it's valid. Find it interesting that you feel the need to say something to your brother about the way he lives his life. While it may not be what you would do or how you would act, this is clearly what he would do, and how he acts is butting in on other people's relationships to tell them how they should do their relationships. A common thing in your family. Is this something your parents do? Do they do it to you? Have you seen them do it to other siblings of yours? If it is, I'm not saying it is, just if it is common in your family, then, in a way, I can see why they are acting the way they involved. From your post, are adults. They get to manage their own relationships in life. Not dynamics change over time, especially when new family members are brought in via partnered relationships. Adjustments will then need to be made within the family. To insist everyone live as you do, or as your family has always done it, is just no behavior. There are whole subs about you even approach your brother. Reflect on why you feel the need to bring up this issue, and, even before doing that, reflect on why you even have an issue in the first place. It may just be that you miss your brother, and that's most. If you absolutely have to say something, and you actually don't have to say anything at all, really, ask him about the dynamic you've noticed and observed. Just don't offer any input or advice. No one appreciates being told how to manage their relationships by someone else. It's unsolicited advice, and, if this is common in your family, may also be why he's having to escort her all over the place in what is supposed to be her home. Even if the actual house itself isn't hers, she is living there. Also, be aware that people generally don't appreciate prying questions either, as it may come off as being unsupportive of the relationship. And yes, he's your brother, but you don't have any rights here to know or say something about their relationship outside of any abuse. You may could also simply give him a call and ask him what's up and how he's doing. It's okay to ask why he declined a promotion and quit college, but just don't be accusatory about it or make him seem like he did something wrong, because that's a judgment on someone else's life that's not really yours to make. Checking in with him is perfectly okay. Trying to manage his life and relationships is not
greater than, but I also don't think this is my brother was self-sabotaging and creating really unhealthy habits that would entirely be my business. I'm not saying she should go scream at him, but I wonder if y'all actually care about your family or just close your eyes when they're hurting themselves.
Greater than if she has to use the bathroom or take a shower, my brother has to walk her there and walk her back. Reads like she feels unsafe around somebody else in the household.
Or like maybe there is a really horrific reason she had to leave her parents' home and move in with her boyfriend when he still lives with his parents. And if she's recovering from something right now and as a result OP's brother is being very protective of her and spending more time with her, it would explain a lot of this behavior. Though the change in jobs seems extreme. However, it could even be totally coincidental, and that happened to be something he wanted to do with his life more than the track he was already on.
I honestly didn't have any issues until I found out he declined a promotion at his job, to be upgraded from general shop hand to being an official machine specialist that they were training him for, because she told him it wouldn't be a good idea and they wouldn't spend enough time together. Then he quit a few weeks later and now works at the same company as her in a completely unrelated field with limited opportunities for job growth. It's not even in a field I ever thought he would enjoy. I'm truly just worried about his future and if these decisions are beneficial for him. Also, when I said address it, I in no way meant yelling or anything. I'm truly just worried about the track is on. This is a good point. I would be contributing to the problem by discussing it with my parents. He's an adult and I should treat him like one and just discuss it with him.
I think one good way to go about it is making a list of the things you've seen and go through them with him. Ask him about his plans and his goals, what he wants for his future, what he's working on. The first conversation about this, don't tell him what to do, don't tell him what you are, how to change, and don't even bring up his girlfriend or that you think she's changing him. All that will do is close his ears to you. Make it about him, about how you don't see him doing his favorite things anymore. About how you miss hanging out with him. Ask what he wants. You can say that you're concerned, but do not bring up the girlfriend. Don't give them a reason to disregard you. Ask him about his friends, if he's been having out with them. Also talk to your other brother and see what he's noticed. Don't talk to him as a group, that will make him feel ganged up on. Write these things out so you can see what to focus on.
It's the extreme codependency that creeps me out a bit here. Going to the bathroom together and back, him quitting his job to work at her workplace, huge mistake in my opinion, being with other pretty much 24/7. Very cringe. He's obviously not thinking what would happen if they break up. Yikes. But sadly, he is an adult and has to make these decisions for himself. Hang back but continue to be there for your bro. He'll need support if this whole thing winds up falling apart.
It sounds like extreme codependency to me. But, you're right. There could be reasons behind this behavior that the siblings and parents don't know. Maybe he turned down a promotion and quit his job because he really wasn't happy, despite it being a good job, according to his sister. Adults are allowed to choose to work in dead-end jobs that their siblings don't approve of if they want to. Adults can choose their own girlfriends, too, even those their siblings don't approve, and his GF should contribute to household chores and also treat the parents with more respect. But those things are for the parents to address, not the sibling who doesn't live there.